Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 72. I am your host, Justin D. Simone, joined by my co-host, Montrell Rice. And for the second week in a row, we are joined by Miss Tiara Atari. How are you guys doing this week?
Good.
Hanging in there. Is my voice still deep?
No.
Okay.
No, Montrell sounded like he was going to kill us before the show. He had like a super deep voice. It was really intimidating. So, for those of you who haven't listened before, the Player's Take is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And we're also posting on Saturdays, 6 a.m. Central Time on YouTube with video gameplay running underneath the audio. We have a lot of news to cover this week. We're going to jump right in to what we've been playing because we need to get through this stuff. So, Tiara, why don't you start? What have you been playing the past week?
Man, oh man. Okay, so I've been playing The Outer Worlds on the Nintendo Switch, and I am not impressed, honestly. Really not impressed. It's super laggy, honestly. But don't hold me to that opinion just yet. I'm super new into the game, so I'm trying to give it a chance. I'm restarting the game, trying to replay it differently. I'm trying different things. But yeah, first impressions.
It has consistent performance issues on Switch.
Yes, the FPS part. So
yeah, that's no good. Yeah, I'm so wary of those those other ports from other consoles.
Yeah, so I played it. A little bit, and it's too buggy. But I paid $60 for it, so I'm willing to try.
You're committed.
I am committed. $60 is a lot.
Indeed it is. I mean, we're going to be paying more next gen, so be ready for that. Have you been playing anything else other than Outer Worlds?
No, adulting has gotten in the way of my life right now, so I haven't had much time to game this week.
Fair enough. All right, then, Montrell, what have you been playing?
I've been playing. What's that game called? The Last of Us 2 Part 2.
Oh man, I have also been playing The Last of Us Part 2.
And I've been streaming Last of Us and League of Legends. So those are the only two games I've really been playing this week. Had really fun streaming, and thanks for the people that did show up to the stream. Had like upwards of 10 streamers at one time. It was pretty cool.
That was fun. It was pretty fun. We did it on Sunday. I don't know. I mean, we're not going to commit to a schedule or anything, but
no.
We may do it every once in a while when it tickles our fancy. I mean, do you want to give like cursory thoughts on Last of Us so far? How far are you in it?
I just got to the part. I don't know what chapter I'm on, but I'm to the part now. I'm pretty sure you guys see the meme or whatever, where Ellie's getting her shirt taken off by Dina. She just did some really fucked up shit to one lady.
Okay.
So I don't want to give away spoilers if you're still playing the game.
I'm not as far as you. I'm in the first like open section they give you.
Okay. Yeah.
I am almost done with it. I was playing before we started recording. Actually, I only have like 2 more buildings to go through before I can finish it up, I think. But yeah, I will say so far the game is very engrossing. It hooked me after about a couple hours. Something happens, basically it drives the plot, and I am like really engrossed. I'm like really looking forward to playing this game now. All the criticism pre-launch is kind of out of my mind at this point, so I am in a fresh perspective with it, and I'm very excited to play more. So we will have more thoughts on it, though. I think we've kind of talked about this. I think we're going to start. We may do separate podcasts for certain games. Down the road, and The Last of Us 2 may be the first game we do that with, because it's a big game. So, well, I've been playing, as I said, Last of Us 2. Gwent a little bit, and I beat Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on Sunday. I'm not done with the game. I still got to do like the epilogue chapter that they added to the Definitive Edition, and also side quests and stuff I want to do. But largely, I'm finished with the story. So the game is phenomenal, fantastic, highly recommended if you are into JRPGs, particularly story-driven JRPGs. The game is absolutely fantastic. And other than that, I've been playing a game called Heroes, Might and Magic 3. I have a feeling neither of you have ever heard of it. And probably most people listening don't know what it is. But it's an old school PC strategy game. I've been wanting to play it for about a year now. My father passed away a year ago. And him and I used to play this game all the time together, like thousands of hours probably the two of us put into this game. So I wanted to play it last year, but I never really got around to it. But the time kind of freed up the past couple weeks. So I played, I played a lot of it, probably, 15 hours or 20 hours or so.
Okay.
And man, I forget how much I love this game every time I play it. It's so funny because it's like usually like there's years gaps at this point between me playing it, but this is legitimately one of the best PC games to ever be made. It's just so good. So yeah, if you never heard of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 and you like strategy games, turn-based strategy games, check it out. You can get it on GOG on sale for like $5. It's amazing. Hours and hours and hours and hours of gameplay and content. It's so good. And if you like fantasy stuff too, that it should be up your alley for that too. So, all right, let's move into the news. We have a lot of news stories to get through this week. So let us start with some clarification from the Sony event from a couple weeks ago. One of the first games they showed was Spider-Man Miles Morales. And there was a lot of confusion that came out of this about what this is. Is it a sequel? Is it a standalone DLC? Is it DLC for the first game? Well, Sony's came out and answered these questions. It is a standalone DLC. And it is going to be, Insomniac said it's going to be about half as long as the original game. And in the scope of kind of like Uncharted Lost Legacy's kind of size.
Gotcha.
If either of you have played that or any of you listening have played that.
I haven't played Lost Odyssey?
Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy. I haven't played that, but I guess, is it going to be a DLC type game or is it going to be an actual disc? Like,
I don't know about that. They didn't clarify that part of it because Lost Legacy, I'm not sure if it had a physical version actually. I think it might have, but it was like $40, and that's similar pricing I kind of expect for this.
Okay.
And I would expect it in the range of 10 to 12 hours probably in length with, 15 hours to 20 hours total with side stuff probably. I bet you. That would be my guesses right now based on how they've talked about it. But Tiara, did you play the first Spider-Man?
I am not a Spider-Man fan, so I don't play Spider-Man games.
Fair enough.
Yes, I know. It's quite unfortunate. Maybe one day. Yeah.
Well, maybe this would be a good like bite-sized way to kind of get you into it because it's going to be. I expect this to be pretty short. Like I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to require.
Well, Sony does really good with the free games, so maybe one day a Spider-Man game will be free, and I can play it.
Right.
That's how I played The Last of Us. It was free.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, but Spider-Man will definitely be free. I think it'll probably be closer to Spider-Man 2's launch.
Yeah, they're definitely going to release it like a month before.
Yeah,
like a free, PlayStation Plus thing.
Maybe not though. Think of it this way, right? If Miles Morales is a launch game for PS5, they could definitely give it away as the PS Plus game for the launch month of PlayStation 5, like the original game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that would make sense. I could see them doing that. That would probably be a smart move, actually. I mean, we've seen this with other games before, like Borderlands and I think even Kingdom Hearts.
Oh my god!
So
yeah, Borderlands. Both of those games were out of control. Like every time a new game in that franchise came available,
they're all given away for free.
Exactly. Yeah.
Here's thousands of hours of games. Have fun. Yeah. So. So that clarification on that. All right, let's move on to our next story. This one is also follow-up to something we talked about a few weeks ago.
Okay.
So Square Enix, one of the publishers that had taken their games off of Geforce Now's streaming service, they have been one of the first ones to actually use the opt-in policy of Geforce Now since they made that change. And they are actually bringing a number of their games back to the service as a result. So the games are Battalion 1944, Boundless, Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Just Cause 3 and 4, Life is Strange 1 and 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration, Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition, Supreme Commander, Forged Alliance, The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, and then Tomb Raider. I'm assuming that's the reboot Tomb Raider. So decent list of games, not all of their games, but this is them playing ball, I think, with Geforce Now. So NVIDIA's change has actually made an impact, it seems, which makes sense. I would expect other publishers potentially to follow suit in the near future.
Yeah, it's a good service. I guess I do see why they opted out, but it's a good service to get more exposure to your game. So I will opt in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I still want to try this. It's just like I just don't know how practical this is right now. Like these services, these streaming services. Like I don't know where I would use this. Unless I'm like on a trip. That'd be the only time I could think of myself using it. Even
then, you need a good connection. You need a good, solid internet connection. So,
and that is not free.
Yeah, exactly. So
most places you go. So
I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of the streaming thing yet. I think once now, if I was in another country like Europe or something like that, or in somewhere over in the Eastern countries where they have great Wi-Fi, and great great service all around, then I think this will be a shoo-in. But like America as of right now, only certain areas have it. So if I am traveling throughout the rural country of America, because America is just so fucking big that they can't get broadband everywhere. So I think if I was like in a city somewhere, then cool. But most likely I'm going to be local, so it's like I don't really need it. I'm going to be home within the next hour or two. I guess it would be okay if I was like visiting my parents back in Detroit, So I guess that would be cool. But I don't know. I just don't see the big deal right now.
Fair enough. All right, next story. Ready at Dawn has been purchased by Facebook. They'll be joining the Oculus Studios team, according to Facebook. This is actually kind of a interesting acquisition because Ready at Dawn is the studio that made The Order 1886 early in the generation, and they've made a number of other games as well. They're a fairly old studio actually, but they've been doing a lot of smaller titles ever since they made The Order, and they've kind of been hopping around from publisher to publisher. So I'm not surprised they got purchased by somebody. They seem like they might have been struggling a little bit to find work. And it is interesting though that Facebook is the one they land with. Are they going to be making VR games, or I don't know what they'll be doing. They're definitely not going to be making The Order 1887. That's for sure.
Facebook been in the gaming for a little bit now.
Yeah,
because they bought Oculus.
Right.
So they've been into gaming for a little bit now. I did think it was very interesting that they come out with a streaming service, but I guess it's not so far-fetched.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can see Facebook wanting to get into this space. I mean, obviously, Facebook games go back a long way, but I just don't know what their end goal is beyond VR, because they said they're joining the Oculus Studios team. So are they making this studio a VR studio for Oculus? Because to me, that seems like a waste of their talent personally.
I don't know. I look at Facebook like I look at Amazon Gaming. Like I don't take them seriously. Amazon just dropped a game called Crucible, and it has a max player of like 500 people playing. So
it's been a disaster, right?
Yeah, because no one knew the game was coming out first off, and then it's Amazon, so no one's gonna take it really seriously. And I look at Facebook like that as well. Maybe I should start taking them more seriously. But this is not the first time that Facebook has acquired. I mean, they acquired Oculus Rift, obviously, or Oculus. Mm-hmm. But I think they acquired another company that was more on a serious platform as well. But that's pretty ashamed that Ready at Dawn is not going to be making another 1887 unless Facebook give them the go ahead.
No, it would never happen. Sony will find a different studio. If they want to revive that IP and make another game, they'll just do it with somebody else.
Well, I just found out that Amazon owns Twitch, so
Oh yeah, that
Again,
is true. Yeah.
Yeah, I
not
mean,
too far fetched.
yeah, but Twitch is
A streaming service.
yeah, but it's not exclusively a gaming platform. Like gaming is a big part of Twitch, but there are other parts of Twitch that are fairly popular. Like IRL streams have definitely grown in popularity over the past.
So I said people use Twitch for things that's not gaming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's
Never
Tons
knew
of it.
that.
Tons of it. Oh yeah, it's all over the place.
people use to cook,
Right.
ASMR,
Mhm.
IRL stuff. It's
Yep.
a lot of stuff, man.
Like I can see it becoming a thing where it's almost like television networky, where people actually have like shows they produce, like a television-esque show they like show on Twitch.
Well, it's interesting now that you say that. Facebook does have its own like network, right? Like
Right.
It does.
TV
Facebook
studio,
TV.
Facebook TV, and people take it seriously. People tune in to these shows on Facebook. It gets like 2 or 3 million views every episode.
Yeah.
So
And you have celebrities that make shows.
Yeah, and
on Facebook.
it's a serious platform. I never took Facebook like I said, I never really took Facebook that seriously. But what was Tiara? What was the name of those people? Baller Brand, big.
LeVar Ball and them.
Yeah, LeVar Ball and them. They had their
Uh-huh.
show, and that show was like really big on Facebook.
Yeah, I watched that show. It was dope.
It was a nice
I
show,
loved it.
and I didn't know it was on Facebook until I realized, like, oh shit, I'm watching this shit on Facebook. So maybe Facebook gaming will have the same thing, and maybe these studios they're acquiring will have the same effect where they make a good game. And we're like, oh shit, this is actually from a Facebook company.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same with like Netflix. Like, when Netflix first came out, they were just like streaming service. Oh, and then the DVD thing too. But you would never, people didn't really take, Netflix shows seriously.
Yeah.
Netflix produced shows seriously when they first came out. It was House of Cards that, changed the game.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Like, people may not take it seriously at first. But
games is so much harder though than I feel
don't
like
think
television. I mean, the amount of production time you have to put in for a AAA game is substantially longer than like a television show.
Yes, but Facebook has the money and they have the resources to do it.
Yeah. I just look at this the way Montrell is. I kind of view it like Amazon. It's like a cute little side project they have, and that's what it is for them. Like, it's not like a main thing they're going to be pushing anytime soon. Acquiring Ready at Dawn, though, is definitely an indicator that they want to be more serious. Like, this isn't you don't acquire studios unless you really want to actually do something with them, So I think it's an interesting move. It does pour some cold water on the Order getting a sequel, but they didn't make a good game anyways the first time. So I'd frankly, if they were going to make another Order game, I'd rather it be made by somebody else anyways. So
I still don't know who to blame for that. I don't know if we should blame
it's
Sony
them.
or Ready at Dawn.
It's totally Ready at Dawn. They got up their own ass about the engine, and it's still the most beautiful looking game on the console, honestly. 7 years later, but it's like they didn't make a game.
Yeah.
It's like a 4-hour game. So it's so it's an interesting story. Next one though, this is a much bigger deal. So there's been a rumor flying around. This was reported by CNBC of all places. AT&T is seeking to sell its Warner Gaming division, which could be worth up to about $4 billion. And this is a big deal because this isn't like a small thing. This is a lot of studios. TT Games, they make the Lego games. Rocksteady, they made the Arkham games. NetherRealm, which I believe they make the Mortal Kombat games, right?
Mortal Kombat.
Monolith Productions, Avalanche, WB Games Boston, Montreal, New York, San Diego, and San Francisco, as well as Portkey Games Publishing, which is for the Harry Potter universe games.
Is there any reason why they're looking to sell?
Well, according to CNBC, it's because they want to pay down some of their debt, and apparently they have $200 billion worth of debt, which
what the fuck?
I cannot. Yeah, right. I can't believe why a company can actually survive having that much debt. It's insane.
I would say I can shed a little bit of light on it. Like I said, I used to work for AT&T, and AT&T, they acquired DirecTV.
Yeah.
Which wasn't like super lucrative for them.
I was there when they
is
acquired
a product, but it's just for what they bought it for what it's, done,
Okay.
it's not been the biggest profit for them. Then
Mhm.
they acquire Warner Media,
Yep.
which is like HBO, all of that, the whole,
Mhm.
and that was an extremely big purchase from Time Warner. And
Mm.
so AT&T keep making all of these huge acquisitions, and they're not paying off in time. So to
Right.
go back to the whole debt situation, they're trying to kind of like consolidate. Like Warner Media is huge, so if they sell off that
Yes.
gaming portion,
Yep.
which they don't want to be into gaming, they sell off that gaming portion. That should give them enough capital to pay down enough of their debt significantly. They're not gonna pay them all,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Well, it's funny
that's
that's
fine.
yeah, all these studios, I mean, 4 billion doesn't seem like a lot for them. And honestly, the interested parties include Take-Two Interactive, Electronic Arts, and Activision Blizzard.
What?
Whoever gets it, whichever one of those three, or if it's somebody else, whoever gets it, this would be a massive, massive shift in game industry kind of like power in terms
What if
of
Facebook bought it?
no, I don't see that.
But what if? What if? What if Facebook bought it?
We would have to take them seriously.
Yeah, we'd have to take them seriously, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
now we got to take them seriously.
Well, come on. I mean, Rocksteady's a high level studio. That's not sorry, Ready at Dawn. You're not on that level.
Oh, I love Rocksteady.
And even
Yeah,
Big
even
Rocksteady fan
games,
over here.
Even NetherRealm, like
yeah, NetherRealm, like that's. I mean, Avalanche isn't a great studio, but they make. I mean, they've made like I think they made Just Cause 3, if I'm not mistaken. And they've made other games, like they made the Mad Max game from earlier in this generation as well. So they're not a slouch of a studio, and the rest of the catalog too. I'm sure there's good talent in there. So this would be a big acquisition for whoever got it. The question I have though is what comes along with this. Do they get access to the licensing deals that these studios currently have, like Lego for TT Games, the DC stuff with Rocksteady in terms of Batman and whatever they're working on now, Harry Potter stuff, there's a lot of outside licenses that they have made games for that I would be curious to know if that would come along with these acquisitions.
I mean, I can only assume so.
Right.
If the studio has a deal with that, then the deal's with that said studio, and wherever that said studio goes, that deal goes. If that makes any sense, unless they have it written in their contract that, like a kind of tree-esque type deal.
Yeah,
like the contract is only available if said studio A is with said studio B, but if studio B sells it to studio C, then the contract is void.
I would assume you're right. That I'm thinking more down the line, like the existing games that are being worked on now, I'm sure they'd be fine.
Yeah.
It's really just like in the future after these games are done and released, they probably have to re-up the deals at this point with the new company, whoever owns them, I would think. Potentially, I guess. So I'm sure they do that with every game anyways now. So I guess it's more of a relationship thing. Can they establish the relationship with Lego and whoever else in order to use those IPs to make games? So I think it's a big acquisition. Whoever gets it, it would be a pretty big shift in terms of the industry. I really think Electronic Arts probably should push really hard for this, because these studios make a lot of games that they don't have in their portfolio. Even Activision, actually, I think similarly would benefit a lot from the stuff that these companies make, because EA, does EA even have a fighting game? I don't think so, right?
No, they don't have a fighting game,
and I don't think Activision does either.
Nope, they don't.
Let me see. EA games.
So yeah, that would be big. And then Rocksteady with third person open world action games. I don't like EA doesn't really have that either, and neither does Activision. So I think those two I feel like should be the ones really pushing for this. I don't think they want Take-Two getting in this personally.
I don't think people want EA personally. I can just see all those studios immediately getting canceled.
Honestly.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I think from the consumer perspective, I don't really want any of these companies getting access to these studios, but it's not like Warner Bros. Is any better anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all kind of bad at the end of the day. But Take-Two, like from the industry perspective, Take-Two is already huge as it is. They have multiple publishing arms underneath their umbrella, and they're one of the few companies that have that situation within video games. Electronic Arts and Activision are a publishing arm. Like they are the publisher themselves. So
I'm actually surprised that Tencent is not in this pool. Because remember, at one point, Tencent was everywhere. They were trying to buy everybody. So I'm
they're not in the business though of actually buying stuff and managing it.
Okay, yeah.
They're more investing, and this isn't a situation like they might invest in whoever buys this.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. They would have to. The responsibility is not theirs per se.
They're not overseeing the projects.
Yeah,
they're not sending producers to studios. They're not doing any of that stuff. They're just feeding money in so that they eventually can take control and own the entire video game industry, which I hope never happens. So yeah, this is a big deal. This is a big one. I will definitely be monitoring this as time goes on. I don't know if we'll hear anything soon on this, but whether we do or not, we will report it on the show. So, all right, our next story is kind of a grouping of stories. The first one, though, is about Microsoft. So there were some allegations that came out over the weekend from a former employee who basically told a story of him and somebody in management being in a meeting, and this person in management referenced all of the streamers on Mixer and their content as her slaves and personal property that she owned. And then this was not dealt with within Mixer. I don't even know if it was dealt with up until the point that he basically said these comments this weekend. However, it conveniently resolved itself the next day because Microsoft decided to shut down Mixer permanently. They're shutting the lights off, and it was convenient timing. One did not cause the other. However, it just was a very ugly couple days for Microsoft because there seemed to have been very serious issues in the hierarchy of Mixer, and this guy was stonewalled at multiple attempts to bring this to the attention of management, HR, everywhere throughout the company, and it was never actually dealt with in a agreeable manner or a reasonable manner. He ended up leaving the company and going somewhere else, but Microsoft shutting Mixer down had to have been in the works for a long time before this, but this is a huge deal. They did not inform streamers until they actually made the announcement publicly that they were shutting Mixer down. So they're basically just kicking all these people out and apparently just fired all their employees for Mixer as well. I don't know. They said that they're going to be transitioning partners over to Facebook Gaming, the streamers over there.
Yeah.
But it's an ugly situation. There's no real other way to put it. They ended up buying out Ninja and Shroud out of their contracts because they didn't really have a choice. They didn't want to go to Facebook Gaming. So, those guys are free to sign with whoever. But they spent a lot of money buying them out. I think it was $30 million for Ninja and $10 million for Shroud in order to buy him out. Yeah. And then everyone else basically is screwed. All these small streamers that have been working on Mixer since its inception. I mean, all that work is not necessarily up in smoke, but it's going to be a hard transition for them to go over to something like Twitch or YouTube Gaming or whatever, Facebook Gaming, if they decide to go there. I mean, their audience isn't just going to follow them. It's going to be difficult for them to transition. So this was a very poorly handled thing from Microsoft, but kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I did see that a lot of streamers were like crying, and a lot of them, they didn't even know until today or until that day that it was announced, which is crazy because not even Shroud or Ninja knew.
Right.
But I mean, like I said, those have huge followings, so that's easy for them to transition over into Twitch or wherever they want to go.
And I mean, they got bought out, so they're fine.
Exactly. But
I would say, I mean, as far as like Mixer goes, like, you know, gaming is cool, but at the end of the day, we have to realize that there's capitalism in every single aspect of our lives, and gaming is no exception.
Right.
Like, so I feel like it was good of Microsoft to get Ninja on board with Mixer. I thought that was a good move. But unfortunately, his streamers were there to see him, not Mixer. So,
well, it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I mean, there have been statistics that have been shown that recently that their growth has basically been stagnant, like flat, for like the past 2 years, while other streaming services are growing like a lot.
But see, that's the thing.
Microsoft, though.
I was just about to say that. Like,
this is the tale of Microsoft. Like, and I mean, this is me. Like, I'm pretty much the most neutral person in gaming, honestly. I started gaming on Xbox, so I'm going to forever be, you know, behind Microsoft. But at the same time, you have to just look at the facts. This is Microsoft's like story. They have constantly failed at what they should succeed at. The Xbox One X is the most powerful gaming console in the market currently. How have you not done anything with that?
Yeah,
it's just a story of Microsoft.
Well, I mean, their OS, their desktop PC OS is a mess. It is a constant battle to even get updates to deploy properly without breaking people's computers. I mean, this is who they are. It's really unacceptable to me that they just didn't give anyone advance notice. Like, no one.
I agree with that as well.
That's unbelievable.
So this is not surprising to me. I mean, it fucking sucks. But it's not surprising. It's not surprising to me because, like you said, of Microsoft's track record. So Microsoft has this thing where they get into bed with stuff, and then they just, if it doesn't do anything, they get out of it. They did it with Game Studio. Like, this is,
they don't commit.
Yeah, this is why. This is why a lot of people. I don't know, Justin. Like, when we were talking about game studios they acquired, this is why a lot of people are scared when they acquired all these game studios, because they can just shut them down without a drop of a dime and not even care, because they don't have to invest. Yeah, they have so much capital.
They make so much money off Windows. Like, what does it even matter to them? Like,
exactly.
Their gaming division is we were talking about cute little side projects. That's kind of what their gaming division is to them too.
Well,
like,
I'm not gonna say that. Because, you know, I did work for Microsoft. I know, and it's like kind of weird that I've worked for all these companies, but I did work for Microsoft.
Yeah.
And I will say, gaming is very big in Microsoft. Super big. Like, to your point, though, Microsoft does make most of its money off its software, not hardware. But gaming is very important to Microsoft. But to Montrell's point, it's just that, like, what Microsoft does is they have these grand ideas, which if you follow through and you execute it properly, you know, it will work out phenomenally.
Yeah.
But they don't have enough patience. Like, if something isn't making enough money, like, because when you come out with a novel idea, like, for instance, let's say the snap feature, you know,
you always go back to that
because that was my thing. Okay, that was why I had an Xbox over on PS4, like, initially, you know, something like that was super innovative, but it just wasn't doing what they needed it to do, and so they just canceled it.
I mean,
the Connect.
Yeah,
love the Connect.
That's a good one. Yeah, that
is
the Connect. Right.
Like, that's something that Microsoft had over Sony, because the PlayStation Move was trash.
People forget they bundled the Connect. They bundled the Connect with the Xbox One when it launched. That's why the thing was so expensive, and that's why it failed. It was $500.
But I'm telling you, people were buying the Xbox specifically for the Connect. Because remember,
no,
like,
they were not. No, they were not. I'm sorry. That's false. False entertainment. That's false entertainment, bro.
People were literally coming because, remember, Xbox is a multimedia console.
Yeah.
Microsoft marketed for families. They're not marketing it to gamers like us who are hardcore gamers. They're marketing it to families. So there were people who came in specifically. They like it because their kids like to do Just Dance and all. And then they had this Fantasia Disney game that the kids like. There were a lot of hits with the Connect. But
Okay.
then Microsoft shut that down. Like
that was their folly, though, right?
It's just the history of Microsoft. They can't put their weight behind anything for the long term.
Well, that's the fear, I think, here for me with Microsoft is there's been rumors for years that they've wanted to get out of gaming, and I think those rumors are still persist because they failed so hard this generation. If next generation doesn't go well for them, I mean, I could see them pulling the plug. There's no reason for them to stick around.
I agree.
You know, and that, well, given all the studios they just acquired though in the last year or two, I mean, that is terrifying. Like they've got really good talent on their roster now, and they are like the idea that they could just cut and run. I don't put it past them though when they do stuff like this. Like what? Who can trust this company with this stuff? And as a consumer, I don't trust them at all. I don't like most of their products. I don't think they do service very well, and frankly, their software costs way too much money for the problems that it has. You know. Like I don't know.
No, that's the issue with Microsoft. I mean, they don't see capital return quickly, like Tiara said. Like they don't see that return, they're out of it. But the problem is, my whole thing with Mixer and them canceling it after 2 years is because you have to give it time to grow. I guarantee you, in 5 years, like if they had gave it another 2 or 3 years. Yep. On the next console generation, Mixer would have blew up. It would have. And that's my point. It would have been the third tier for the streaming, because we would have had YouTube gaming, we would have had Twitch, and we would have had a Mixer. And a lot of people were starting to go to Mixer. Mixer was starting to get out there, especially for streamers of color. Like it was starting to be a platform for them. And now that's gone. We have to go to Facebook gaming. Like what? God. Like I don't want to get on stream and watch my grandma watch me stream. Like I don't. That's why I think of Facebook gaming. Like my auntie's about to watch me play fucking Monster Hunter.
That's
like,
what you'll see, dude. You'd have to make a whole new account to avoid that.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, but then like I said, the Mixer, the user interface of Mixer was super like easy.
It was intuitive.
It was well integrated into the gaming platform, the Xbox gaming platform. Mixer was like. Microsoft had something with Mixer. But again, like when you have new ideas, when you have new platforms, new businesses that you're starting, new ventures that you're going into, it takes time to grow. It's just that simple.
Yep.
You can't just cut and run just because you're not seeing capital gains fast enough.
Well,
and that's what Microsoft does.
They've basically ceded this whole ground to Twitch now. Like
basically.
Like Twitch is just gonna absorb, I think, a large portion of these people who are streaming on Mixer. Because YouTube gaming is fine. I just don't think it has very much pull though.
It doesn't
for streaming, and Facebook gaming is literally like barely. I didn't even know it was a thing before this. Like
a lot of people,
on my radar.
A lot of people, to their credit, I'll give them credit. Like a lot of people do use Facebook streaming or Facebook gaming, because I'm like in a Monster Hunter group on Facebook or whatever, and a lot of people put their streams on there, and it gets about 1 to 2K. The little streamers that I do see there that are like no names, right? But my thing is like I never took it seriously because I thought they were streaming that from another platform. Like I didn't know that was like
they were streaming directly from Facebook.
Exactly. And I'm like, all right, so now that all this clicked to me, I'm like, wow, they're streaming. Yeah, like you said, they're streaming directly from Facebook. It's just really weird. Like they put all this. See, this is the problem with Microsoft. They throw money at shit and then they expect it to blow up. They threw money at like Shroud. They threw money at Ninja, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna grab everybody." And it's like, no, that's not how it works. I think the problem here is Xbox. And I'll explain why I think the problem is Xbox. Xbox did that. They came into the gaming industry and they blew the fuck up with Halo. When Halo dropped, everyone was buying it and they're like, oh, this is a success. We can do this all the time. And every time they try to do that, whether it be with their cell phones ran longer than they should have. But like
I like Windows phones. I like Windows phones.
My dad had a Windows phone.
I had a 950. That's a good phone.
Even like with their software now, like I think Xbox has just made which is funny, right? Like it made a cancerous culture inside of them, because ever since Xbox, like they tried to make Windows 8 or Windows 8, and then they were just like, oh, we're just gonna fuck that Windows 10 now, and it's like you didn't even try to improve Windows. I mean, it was bad. No, Windows 8 was bad. I ain't gonna hold you up, but they didn't even try to improve it.
Isn't that indicative of who they are though? They come out with something like Windows 8, and no consumer was like, we wanted this. No one. Everyone hated it.
Windows 10 took the best of Windows. Everyone loved Windows 7, so Windows took the best of Windows 8 and combined that with Windows 7 to make Windows 10. I personally love Windows 10. Like
I do like Windows 10. I just don't like the stealth updates. But that's a whole different. That's a whole different thing.
I want to go back to Windows 8 for a second, though. It's indicative of their culture, right? They think they know best. That's what Microsoft is. That's what they do, and they never listen to the consumer, and that is their Achilles heel. It always has been.
That's true because it happened. We saw that with the Xbox One. They thought they knew what the consumer wanted.
Yes, and 100%.
And it totally backfired in their faces. Yeah. Like like I said, I'll shut up for what Tiara said about the Kinect, but I will stand behind that sports and TV shit. That shit was ass. Like I like the snap feature.
You didn't like the snap feature?
I like the snap feature, but that shouldn't have been their main focus. I understand that this was a press conference for their stakeholders or stockholders and whatever the case may be when they did that.
No better than that. If you're gonna broadcast that, dude,
I was just about to say that. If you're gonna broadcast it, you have to. Your primary audience is gamers, whether it be little family gamers, whether it be hardcore gamers. We want to see video games. They show 2 video games, Madden and Call of Duty, and everyone was like, what about everything? You're showing the prices right. You're showing TV sports. You're saying this is going to be the water cooler of the gaming industry. Like, no one wants to hear that, bro. Like, yeah, the Kinect was cool because I used to use the Kinect all the time. I thought that shit was cool. I'm like, Xbox on, Xbox go to Netflix.
Man,
that shit was cool to me.
I was so sick when I didn't have a port for my Xbox One X.
Yeah,
I had to get rid of it.
Yeah, I was the same way. I'm like, because it's like little features like that, right? That was cool, but that shouldn't have been their main focus. They made that their main focus, and I miss some of those features, yes, but it's like I want to play video games. So to me, like this is a very. This to me puts them back on that. They were just getting out of this stigma of being this super big evil corporation, and now that they did this mixer thing, they're back in that.
This
as far
is
as
so ugly.
I would say,
so ugly,
I mean, I would say let's go back to the word that you use, stakeholder. And in the education field, the stakeholder is everybody who has a vested interest in your child's education. The parent, the teacher, principal, everybody's a stakeholder, right? So stakeholders in gaming, their biggest stakeholders are the gamers themselves. And to me, I have been thinking over this past week, like, why is it that Microsoft, that Xbox just can't get it together? Why am I continuously like defending the Xbox One X when its specs should speak for itself? And I really was thinking to myself, and this is really because Sony listens to its consumers, like, or people developers who make games for Sony listen to their consumers.
So it is 2 things. I gotta say 2 things. So I just imagined you like looking in the mirror in the dark and like, why can I stop defending them? That's what I imagine in my head. Like you got a cigarette,
tossing and turning
in the tub or something like that.
How do I stop defending Microsoft?
It's not that I'm defending Microsoft. I defend the Xbox One.
So that's what. And you got like a cigarette in your hand. You like twitching. Like, why can't I stop?
Like, how is it that you literally have the most powerful gaming console and nobody really gravitated towards it? Nobody
they have
like, oh my god,
because,
I just gotta play this.
The reason why is power doesn't speak to console gamers. It's just not important. I don't care what anyone says. If it was, they would go play on PC.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's just not relevant. That's why the Switch is so successful, because they don't, like, gamers who play on the Switch don't give a shit about power.
They just want a cool ass game.
They just want a cool game on something they can play on their handheld and then on their TV if they want. It's because the features are great. They make sense. And Sony does the same thing, right? They're not sitting here talking about how powerful the graphics card is in the PS5. Like, they obviously talking about an SSD is not super exciting for most consumers, but it's going to realize something that is going to be exciting for consumers. no load times. Like load times are going to be gone,
Yeah.
and games are going to be better because of this SSD. I'm telling you that right now. And Microsoft is not sending that same message. They're talking about power. We're going to have the best flops in gaming. It's not going to matter.
But as a gamer, as a regular person, you're like, what the hell is a teraflop? Like,
exactly.
What?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
it's literally a thing fanboys throw at each other to like, who cares?
And I would say both.
It to me personally, like
exactly.
Like you said, if you said things like, "Oh, no, very small load times," I was like, "Oh man, very small load times." Because man, load times be killing me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Those key buzzwords, you like, oh, okay. But like you said, the technical aspect, right?
No,
it's
yeah,
like,
no
it's
one.
Like, I know what the specs mean technically.
Yeah.
But how does that translate to the games that I'm playing?
How does that make the games better? Right.
Exactly.
Right.
No one cares about. My thing is Xbox and PlayStation. They both did this generation. Unfortunately, with the mid range upgrades, I think they both fell into the fanboy trap because they were the ones talking about the teraflops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I had to Google what a teraflop was.
Yeah, I had to as well.
It's a stupid
term. It's stupid. And the thing that Microsoft needs to learn, and they need more games. Like that's what they need more first party games. They have to come out with first party games. That's why I don't think they understand why the Xbox original and the Xbox 360 was successful.
Because they had good libraries.
They had an excellent library. Even
to go back to the point again, not listening to the consumer.
Exactly. And the only reason why I would say that Xbox is even in the position it's in today, because you gotta think, right? I don't think if Phil was running that division of mixers, whatever, I think he should have been running that, because he wouldn't have said, no, don't get rid of that. The reason why Xbox is on the bounce back right now is because of Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer is a gamer. He knows what gamers want and everything of that nature. Unfortunately,
he works for Microsoft.
Yeah, the Microsoft division who was running Mixer, they don't know gaming at all. All they saw was the numbers, and they're like, oh well, we gotta get rid of that. I mean, because it's my last point, but like from the 360 to the Xbox One, it was Don Matrick, and he didn't know. He got lucky, in my opinion, from running the 360. He got so lucky. And we saw his luck run out when he went to the Xbox One, because he completely misread gamers. And then when they switched over to Phil Spencer knew what they wanted. So maybe under the Xbox division, we won't see this just giving up on game studios, because I mean, look at what was that, Bleeding Edge? That game flopped, and we still see Ninja Theory here right now so far. True. So I mean, but they are Microsoft though, so I don't know. At the end of the day, they still have that reputation of just canceling games, because Scalebound is one of the highest games that people will remember that got canceled. Everyone bought an Xbox or was going to buy an Xbox for that game, and they just got rid of it, because Xbox is known as a dude bro system, and I'm pretty sure they're getting tired of being called the dude bro system. They want other stuff.
They're not even that anymore. Like
you're right.
People play Call of Duty on PlayStation. Like that, they play Madden on PlayStation. Like it's. I don't even know what they are anymore. Like right now, they lack an identity at the moment, and that is a big problem.
I would say that's definitely true. I would say, even just to go back when you're saying that Xbox's thing. I think that if they don't really, when the Series X come out, whatever they officially name it, I guess if this is called the Series X officially, but when it's definitely a terrible name. But when they come out with it, officially, if they don't have games that are gonna make like first exclusives that are going to make people gravitate, that's going to be like the end of that, honestly. Because as gamers, we're going to be like, okay, Microsoft, we don't give you like a couple chances now.
They need to get away from the shooters. They have to. They got to get other stuff.
So, I mean, but again, developers are probably not going to throw their hat in the ring with Microsoft if they feel as though Microsoft isn't going to back them for the long run. When developers come out with games, they want to have, consistency, sequels to games, XYZ, they want to grow themselves as developers as well. So it's like, if I put my hat in the ring with you and you're just going to cancel my stuff, then why would I do it?
Well, that conversation went in a different direction than I thought it would, but we're gonna get back to the racism side of that.
I completely
really
forgot about that.
That's definitely what the story
No, I
was.
understood. That part of it, though, I'm glad we talked about Mixer and all that because that is an important part of the conversation. But
definitely what the story was. It wasn't about the racism.
The racism side of it, we're going to talk about here coming up in these next couple stories because it's all related, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's all part of gaming. So the next part of this, to me, or the next one we're going to talk about is there have been a massive number of sexual assault, sexual harassment allegations that came out over the weekend towards a number of YouTubers, streamers, and others within the games industry. I think even a Twitch VP was like accused of some stuff. This isn't, so I'm not going to go through names here. There's too many to name. There's too many to list. The list is on medium.com. It is listed out, and it has the accusers and what their story is posted underneath it. This is definitely worth a look. There's just so much here that it's impossible to go through it all. But this is an important story to cover because it's there's just a rot within games that is this kind of thing doesn't surprise me, and that is horrible. That is sad. Like, it shouldn't be that way. Like, this should be
this day and age. No.
Right. This should be something that like shouldn't happen, period. And the fact that it's so prevalent, and some of these stories are horrible. Like, there's literal rape stories in here, women getting roofied and like not being conscious.
What
and
the fuck?
It's really fucked up stuff, dude. And like, there's some in here that like women getting semi-kidnapped, like basically like pressured into not being able to contact their friends while they're with people. Like, it's pretty gnarly stuff. And
yeah, it's fucked up because it's gaming. Like, we shouldn't be talking about heavy stuff like this.
Yeah,
it's gaming. Like, gaming is supposed to be the escape from the real world. Like, I shouldn't be feared that I'm going to get raped.
Unfortunately, like we said off stream, a lot of these people that blow up overnight, that have all this success, and now they have to deal with different sexual orientations, different genders, and all this stuff like that. They don't know how to, and this is not an excuse, by the way, but they don't know how to interact with people, and they only interact with them based off what they've seen on maybe TV or whatever media that they are exposed to. And this is what we get. I mean, I've been to plenty of cons where they're just awkward people, and not to say all con goers are awkward as fuck, but I've been there's been plenty of times to where there have been awkward situations for me and for people I've seen. Like, I've been in an awkward situation with some women, and I'm just like, I don't want to do this with you. I don't like you like that. And I've seen women be in situations where they don't want to be in those situations, because you get drinking involved, and then people just forget how to be a decent human being, especially when alcohol and drugs are involved, because cons are like almost like mini rock shows. It's just drugs and alcohol everywhere. So I'm not surprised by these stories. It's just mind blowing that this is all coming out at once. Like, if it was spread over time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just wild.
There were 70 different accusers. We're not talking about one or two. I mean,
exactly.
One person is definitely bad enough, but 70 different women.
I said this pre-show. There's a lot of people that are going to individually defend some of these folks, and in case by case, some of them may not be true. But the thing is, there is so many here. It is impossible that all these are false. There's just no way. Some of these have to be true, and I would put my money that a majority of these are true experiences.
Like I said pre-show, I believe every last single one of them women because it's gaming.
I do too.
It's gaming.
Absolutely.
Like, we're not talking about a workplace thing, or
this isn't professional stuff. Like,
exactly. This is not professional. This is like hobby stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And gamers definitely.
Every single one of those women.
Gamers don't have like like, this isn't a knock on gamers, but they don't have that like professional air about them that other industries have, and that is the reason why I like gaming. But at the same time, that's kind of where this kind of stuff can come from, because you don't act mature when you need to act mature, you know? And it's very infuriating to me that these people are using their power and their pull and their influence in order to take advantage of people. It's like sickening. It sickens me. And a lot of it, and it's mostly men. Like every one of these, I'm pretty sure was a man who was accused here. And as a man, I'm not surprised. Men are fucking disgusting. Like it's just, it's almost like they're predisposed to it, and it's like, it's something that we have to like combat, and we have to call it out. We have to encourage people to call this out. We cannot have these situations continue to happen where women are afraid to speak up when it happens to them. That shouldn't be a thing. Like it shouldn't. You should be able to say somebody did this to you, and people don't immediately say, "Oh, you're a liar. You're looking for clout."
Right.
Like that shouldn't be the first reaction we have to this.
Right.
Like, we should. Yes, we need to know if it's true or not, but at the same time, we need to accept that there is trauma here. Like, it's hard to talk about this stuff.
I never understood that clout argument. Like, if I wanted clout for someone, raping me and they were famous, wouldn't it make more sense for me to tell immediately? Like, if I didn't really care about the rape allegation.
Right. No, I'm not gonna say that.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's why the clout argument is stupid, because if I really want to clout, I would just go ahead and say it right then and there. Like, I really wouldn't. I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic.
You say that, but the thing about it is, people who come out for clout, because people do come out for clout. It is a real thing, and I will say that in defense of men, because it sucks to get falsely accused. People do that. And remember, I said it was 70. It was a whole Twitter thread, right? It was like 70 different women. So as it's getting viral and being reposted or whatever, I believe that there potentially could be some women who hopped onto the bandwagon and said, okay, well, this happened to me too. Not saying that, I'm saying that anybody lied personally, but I'm saying it can happen. Right. And I could see that happen. I would not put it past any woman to do that either. Like, it really sucks to get falsely accused for a man. But at the same time, to your point, that shouldn't be your first thought that, oh, somebody's doing this for clout. Like, your first thought should be, wow, something happened to this person.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then if the investigation comes out later on that person lied, then that's a whole different story. But your initial reaction should be, oh my God, I'm sorry that happened to you. Like,
yeah, right. And understanding their mindset, because they might see things in a way that the other person didn't see it. And maybe it was a misunderstanding, but if the act happened and they didn't want it to happen, like, that's not
It's still
not
it is
consent.
what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is, right?
Right.
It kind of is what it is, and you can't, and that's where victim blaming comes in. You can't blame the victim for that, Like, I conduct myself in a certain way where I try to treat everyone I engage with respect. Like, I expect that out of others as well, and unfortunately, a lot of people aren't like that. And these parties, like, I'm not a party goer. I'm not a person who goes to parties because of situations like this. This shit is uncomfortable, and I don't want any part of this kind of stuff. Like, I don't want drugs around me. I don't want alcohol around me, because people lose themselves and they act crazy when they're under the influence. And when you have large groups of people like this, it's going to create situations where these things happen. So these people need to, like, I don't know. It's hard to say what I'm trying to say here. Like,
they just need to get control of themselves.
You need to be more mature. Like, that's all I'm trying to say. Is just like, be more mature.
Yeah. Like, as I was going through the thread, though, I mean, there were some guys who did say, like, I'm not going to, like, make excuses, whatever. Like, I didn't see it at that same, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, it doesn't change the fact that whatever happened, but it does bring to the conversation that, sometimes things could be misconstrued.
Yeah.
And so for those guys who, admitted that, I was like, okay, I give you props for admitting that. But there were some guys who were just flat out denying it, like, or even worse, like, like, what do you call it? What's the word? Justifying their behavior. There you go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Justifying their behavior. So,
yeah. I don't know. It's just, it's a whole song and dance with the nuance of, like, I don't want to say consent, but the whole world of giving consent with sex and the cues and of how to go. I think at this point, as a society, we're opening up because, like, I feel like a lot of this comes from like us being so Western society in general being so closed-minded towards sex. So when we want to have sex with someone, we're all like, we're trying to give cues and everything without saying like, hey, I want to fuck you. Like, just go out and say that. I think now as a society, we're at that level where we need to just say like, hey, I want to have sex with you.
I don't know if I want a guy to just tell me I just want to fuck you. Like,
no, I'm just saying, like, I mean, when the mood is right, you know what I'm saying?
You throw a little bit of coyness, a little bit
yeah.
for the razzle dazzle, but I mean, I get what you're saying. We want consent.
Yeah.
But as I was going through those stories, I was literally thinking, I was like, man, as a female gamer, like, what happened if this would happen to me, like all of these stories. And as I was reading it, it kind of like jogged some memories, like, as a female too, when, Montrell, you were saying, well, how come, people, sometimes don't come out like right away? Because as a female, sometimes you don't realize that stuff happens to you until somebody brings it to your attention. Yeah. Like, sometimes you don't realize that things are sexual assault. Sometimes you think it's normal. You don't realize that certain things were rape. Like, it's a real thing. And when you hear other people's stories and you're like, wow, that's actually not consent, and this actually happened to me, and then now I have my story. So sometimes that happens, and I was just thinking, like, I've been gaming forever, and I was like, when I first got online gaming, it was like Xbox 360. Yeah. That's when I first started gaming online, and I want to say like 16, 17 when I first started, and I remember I had all these, like, I still don't know any really girl gamers now, like, that are personal friends of mine. So it's just like all my friends were like guys, and they were all, I didn't really, everybody was just a gamer to me. Like, I didn't really say to myself, this is a 35-year-old man. This is a 44-year-old man. I mean, seriously, like, and these guys, they would hit me up and they would say, oh, send me your, here's my email, so we can talk like offline. Because, if I'm gaming with you on a regular, I kind of, know you. Know you kind of personally or whatever, but then I remember, that turning into, oh, let me send you sexual pictures, let me send you nudes. And it's just like, and it's like, at the time I was just thinking like, okay, like, I'll just ignore this. That's nothing, but when I look back on it, I was realized 16, 17, and these people knew that I was 16, 17. Yikes. Because I said that I was 16, 17. And, and I think about how old some of those guys were, and I'm like, man, this has been like a real thing for a while.
Well, it brings up a point I wanted to talk about, is that gaming kind of attracts a certain personality type, and I would say it's I'm not gonna blanket statement say it's all this kind of people, but I think introverts are attracted to gaming a lot more than extroverts sometimes, because it's a way for and I'm an introvert, so it's a way for us to like have an interaction without actually interacting with people, that's kind of how I look at it sometimes, and that's true of multiplayer gaming as well. It feels like a safe way to have social interactions with people, but it gets really complicated when these people don't actually have friends in real life, and that's where the problem comes, because they don't know how to act, and they overstep so fast what is like familiarity, like levels of familiarity. And I mean, some of these men are just creeps, period. Those older men, those guys are just fucking creeps, straight up, period, full stop. Like, there's no other way to say that.
And some of these guys don't know how to act when they encounter a female gamer. Like, I just be like, at the end of the day, I don't think of myself as a female gamer. I think of myself as just a gamer. Like, when I link up with other people, and I just think, and but of course, somebody always brings it to my attention. Oh my God, you're a girl and you play Call of Duty. Oh my God, you're a girl and you do this and the third. And it's just like, what? Yes. So, I'm a gamer that happens to be a girl, sure.
I was thinking about that. Like, why? Even I said this, and it was an ignorant statement. But I was like, I said a couple, like maybe a year or two ago, like, man, where the fuck do all these female gamers come from? Then they click, right? I'm like, they probably always been there. You know how you go into a lobby of like Call of Duty or something, and it's always that one person that ain't got no mic? That's probably a female gamer. And I'm like, because she don't want to get on mic, and she don't want to talk to you. And it's probably other gamers out. It's probably not even that. It's probably other gamer tags that don't seem quote unquote female or feminine in their names that are female gamers. And I know a lot of female gamers that just don't have feminine gamer tags. So it's like they've always been there. They've just never like come out.
They didn't announce themselves.
Exactly.
Right.
Like,
and for good reason.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Because I think it's unfortunately not police part of gaming culture that I think dudes just think they can get away with unacceptable behavior. So and that leads to them doing things to women in games or sending DMs on Twitter or whatever they're doing online, creepy shit, way overstepping the boundaries that we would normally have in person. And I'm thinking about a stupid story actually, because I used to play World of Warcraft a lot back in the day when it first came out, and I played a female hunter, like a female night elf hunter. And I'm remembering, dude, I was like a very silent, I didn't like, even in parties, I didn't really chat much or whatever. And it happened to me fairly often where I would have somebody message me out of the blue, just adventuring. And it'd always get to a point where I would like, they would say something kind of uncomfortable. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm a dude, and it's like, I'm thinking about the fact that like, what if I wasn't a dude though? It's like, I can say that and they're immediately disarmed and they go away, right? But if you're not a dude, like you don't have that luxury. Like they will continue to come at you, and it's like it's gross. It's gross, and it's been here from the beginning, and it's never gone away. And I'm tired of it. Like we need to get rid of this shit. I think call these people out. I'm sick of them. Like
I think people don't, especially like the introverts and the gamers and stuff like that. I'm an introvert, but I think people don't know how to compliment and go. Like, if you compliment someone, you compliment like, hey, you look really nice. I think you're incredibly attractive. And then go about your day. Like people, especially guys, when we compliment someone, we expect something in return. Like, I just gave you a compliment. And it's like, no, bro, just say she looked good and go about your business. Now, if she want to return whatever the message to you, then there, you kicked it off. But besides that, just go about your business and have a good day. Like, so when
go ahead. Never mind.
I'm sorry. No, you can go ahead.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna say that guys can't like, hit on a girl via gaming. I'm not gonna say that, but it's just like, again, it's all about the way you do things. Like,
but is that the time? Like, think about it. When you're playing games, is that what you're looking for when you're playing, a multiplayer game? Like,
no. Okay. No.
This is a very. I'm so glad we got a female on the podcast because I really would.
I was just thinking about. For me personally, I linked up with somebody like that I met via like Xbox, but that's only because like, I was like, oh, you live in the DC area. I live in the DC area. He had his actual picture up. I had my actual picture up. So that was like, okay, I see what you look like. I know. Okay, so that was different. That was different. But I guess what I'm saying is that, if we are friends online, and we've been, talking for like, gaming for a minute, I don't think it's bad to segue to that. I guess what you're more so saying is just like, if I just join a Call of Duty lobby
right, that's exactly what I'm saying.
If I just joined it, you know what I'm saying? Then that's probably not the right.
Yeah, like yo, dang, you sound good, girl. What's your name?
That's what they do. If you're in like a league lobby and there's a girl in the lobby, all of a sudden everyone's hitting on her. Like, I know she wants to kick your ass. That's what she wants to do. Like,
but what if she's ugly? Like, people are just like, we're not thinking about the real.
I know that is the funny part about it is that that is like it can be such a trap. Like they don't like they're getting themselves into like, I don't know.
But I've been told that
Dudes are
it wouldn't.
stupid. That's the.
I've been
that's the
told
truth.
that the fact that I was attractive was just a plus. That it didn't even really matter if I was attractive or not. Just the
Yeah,
fact
they're
that I was a girl gamer.
They're
That's
fucking
what I've been
lying.
told.
They're fucking lying.
Oh,
No, every I'm gonna tell you right now, every guy who on the mic when they hear a female voice and they're like, "Oh, she play Call," they're imagining like the streamer girl with the
Yep.
bra and the little and then like with the glasses and like, "Hey guys," and playing her panties or some shit like that, right? Like that's what they imagining. They not imagining like you are probably in your pajamas and the dirt is stained pajamas like us playing with Cheetos.
You might not
right
have showered. Like it's like a weekend. You haven't showered for a couple
exactly,
days.
Right, It's like girls going.
That's not what they're imagining.
Like that's literally why I don't play Elder Scrolls Online anymore. Like I will go on week gaming binges, like only coming out of my room to like eat or go to the bathroom or something.
Exactly.
Like, I would be lucky if I showered twice in that week. Like,
See, they don't picture that. They don't picture that you're that. They think honestly, and I'm saying this from experience. I'm saying this from like a naive mind. They think that girl gamers just on the mic with their makeup on, just like looking fabulous, and I'm like, nah, man. They probably got their hair tied up. They probably didn't take a shower the last two. Depending on the game you playing, especially playing World of Warcraft, you didn't play. You didn't take a shower because you're raiding. You didn't take a shower in 24 hours.
Man.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're not leaving the house, you all right.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It's gamers. I think we are moving out of that, but I'm glad this document exposed like the big names, right? Because these big names are still stuck in that stratosphere.
They're the example, dude. Like they're the ones that gamers see, and like they look to these people as an example. Like I'm gonna talk about Dr. Disrespect real quick because he's like a good example of this because he's playing a character, and yet there are tons and tons of his fans that probably feel like that's really him, even though it's not. It's like very clearly not. Like, and I think that's kind of a problem, like it I don't have a problem with him playing a character. Frankly, I love his character, but it's like the fact that people can't separate that from him is a problem. And this is true of actors as well.
I was about to say that.
I was just about to say that.
Actors, rappers, singers, all that stuff.
Yeah, Al Pacino said he hated when people call him Scarface. Like, he's not Scarface. That's a character that he played. He is Al Pacino.
Yep. And I think it's something that's a problem within American society. It's not just exclusive to gaming, but it's something we got to tackle because we got to be able to separate that. Remember that dude from Game of Thrones who played the Prince Joffrey?
Yeah.
He got run out of acting because people were sending him mean comments all the time because he was Joffrey, even though that's not who he is. He was playing a character. Like, we have to understand that. So these guys, these people who got outed here, like they do set an example for people, unfortunately. And I think that's something they don't even think about or they take for granted. And I really wish they would take that more seriously because it is important, like they are a role model for younger people. Like Ninja specifically is probably a role model for younger people because he plays Fortnite. He plays games that younger people play.
He also had his controversies as well.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. He's not
which is funny because he's on the other side of the spectrum now. Like he's like for women's rights and everyone's like bagging on him from that. It's like I don't know. He can't win for lose. I don't really
because see, here's the thing. From a female perspective, it's just like when you have your stories, your accusations yourself, I kind of don't want you to be a hypocrite. Like it's like, yes, bring attention to the issue, but you also don't have a leg to stand on.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That's where that comes from. I will say that the Twitch, the ex-Twitch VP, had came out and said that because I was really sitting here thinking to myself, how am I going to proceed in the future? Because a lot of this stems from the top. Like the Twitch VP said that he let people know above him what was going on, and they told him that things were going to be handled, and obviously things were not handled. So I'm thinking to myself, as a CEO of a company, like, do I want to support your company if people let you know that there are things happening and you don't immediately rectify that? So I'm thinking,
This leads into the next story very well, actually, because a couple of former IGN employees have come out on Twitter and talked about a couple of former managers who worked at IGN. I believe their names are Tal Blevins and Steve Butts. Yes. And the two people who outed these guys were Mitch Dyer and Callie Plagg on Twitter. Basically talked about how they created a culture of fear at IGN when they were the management of it. They were abusive towards workers. They would make fun of people. They would deny promotions to people for reasons of they didn't say yes enough, things like this. Like they weren't basically we're not doing what those specific managers wanted them to do all the time at all times. It's not great stuff. So I would recommend reading the threads. I'm not going to read the threads, but this leads into what you were just talking about, is that it does start at the top. That culture is created at the top, and those people unfortunately are entrenched because they're the ones who, whether it's CEO or whoever or founder, like they created the company and then they handpicked the management underneath them, and it's really hard to uproot that. And that's kind of what needs to happen, it seems like, because it seems like a lot of gaming companies have this problem where the upper management just either doesn't care, or they are the problem in and of itself. They're the one abusing. They're the one doing the sexual harassment. They're the one using their influence to take advantage of people or force people to do things that they don't want to do, because specifically Mitch's story is actually really interesting to me, because he says that he posted a story about Amy Hennig leaving Naughty Dog back in the day and was forced to insert basically dramatic speculation in there that she left because she had issues with Neil and Bruce. Like Neil and Bruce forcibly forced her out of the company to take over Uncharted 4, which it has been denied a million times, but that's where it originated from, was that IGN story. And that has been a thing that has been referenced by people on the internet for years, talking about Naughty Dog. And it's not true. It's just straight up not true. And on Callie's side, Tal Blevins actually responded to her and apologized for his actions, basically confirming everything she said. So, it's ugly. This is everywhere. It's not just streamers. It's not just the gamers themselves. It's not just the people who work at these companies who are the CEOs or the management at these companies. It's everything. It's throughout the entire industry. It's like this whole weekend has been extremely sobering for me, because I'm not surprised by any of it individually, but the sheer amount of it and how much of it came out and how fast it all came out is just it's like blindsiding. It's shocking,
It is definitely mind blowing. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's weird. IGN's weird. Gaming journalism is weird because, it was that whole debacle a couple years ago. The gaming industry just needs to be, I don't want to say purged because that sounds terrible, but
better.
Yeah. They just need to. They need better. Because you remember Riot.
Maybe they need more females in position of power. Something gotta happen.
I don't know, because we got that mixer female who said,
"Oh my god, yeah." Going back to that, yeah, it was a female who said those racist comments. By the way,
yeah. Because
anybody can be racist. If it was a female who said sexist comments, I would be like, oh,
yeah, that's true.
Anybody can be racist.
Yeah, but it's just, I don't know. Gaming culture as a whole is just in a weird spot right now, because we are trying to integrate diversity with women and people of color and black people and everything of that nature. And it's like a lot of people are pushing back because they don't know how to handle that. Like, gaming culture has been predominantly white for the last 30 years.
Dude, bro.
Yeah. And dude, bro. Yeah. And dude, bro. Forever. Yeah, exactly. So now that people are now that you got these, women gamers coming out and they're like, yo, I play video games too, and I have an input on what I want and what I like, and you have developers catering to that input, because it is a large majority, or not a large majority, but it's a large minority And you got people of color like, hey, if I a character creator, please, I don't want cornrows or an afro. I have other hairstyles. Can you please give me that? And it's like now people are catering to that, but now gamers are like, oh, SJWs. And it's like that's not the case, man. Like I don't know. So with the industry, you see with the top heads who don't know how to handle that because they've been in position of power for so long, their authority has been unmatched, and they've been using their authority to do certain things to the point to where I honestly think a lot of the stuff that they're doing, they don't see anything wrong because they don't know any better. Like they just this has been their life. You know what I'm saying? So when you point it out to them, they're like, what are you talking about? Like I should be able to do whatever I want to do, whatever the case may be. So I don't know. It's just a weird shift in. Unfortunately, we got to weather that storm to get the change that we want.
Well, those creepy guys we were talking about, they're the ones who are entrenched in games. Like they're the ones who've been playing for a long time. You know, like they are the audience that gaming kind of grew from. And unfortunately for them, they're not the majority anymore. You know, like there's a lot more people playing games than there were 20 years ago.
Yeah,
and that's the problem. Though, is that like they still feel like I think that they are the true gamers, you know, like they're the ones who started it, and it's like not really. Like gaming's for everybody. We need it to grow. We want it to grow, you know, and it's like anybody can play games, you know. And I just think they're stubborn, like they don't want to accept that, you know, and a lot of these people have political views that are unfortunately not very accepting of differences.
Yeah.
So that is also a problem as well. And it's just created this, like, I feel like this war that's been going on in games for 10 years now. Like, dude, Gamergate was like 8 years ago, you know? It's a long time ago.
We're still seeing the rift of that. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's been going on forever. And I'm glad these things are these people are getting called out in the companies, because once they get replaced and they're replaced with people who are good people who actually set a good example, hopefully that actually creates an accepting environment within games. That's my hope, you know? And we can only do what we can do individually. Like here on this show, we accept everybody, you know? Like there's we don't want to exclude anyone. Like like we want everyone to be part of the conversation. You all should be able to play games and enjoy games and talk about games comfortably, you know? That's my feeling, at least, you know? And it's like so that's what we can do, you know. We can do what we can do in our bubble, you know. And I hope to see the change happen sooner rather than later. But it's just we have to accept that it's going to be slow, you know. That is unfortunate. That is an unfortunate reality, I think, with this. So yeah, you guys have any other thoughts on these topics? I know that was a lot to talk about back to back like that, but
no, I would just, like I said, the gaming industry just got to do better, honestly. Got to do better. Like, wrong is wrong. It doesn't even matter if there was no female gamers,
Agreed.
honestly. Like, wrong is wrong. Don't be a rapist.
Yeah,
that is my advice.
It should be simple, shouldn't it? Shouldn't it be simple?
That is my advice.
So simple.
Don't be a rapist.
That should be the title of this episode. Don't be a rapist.
I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, we'll probably get flagged for that. But
I don't know. Maybe I will. I don't know. You might maybe do it on YouTube.
It's literally just that simple. Honestly,
it is. It really is. And don't be an asshole. Like that's another simple part. Like, just be a nice person. Like, you don't have to be a dick to people. There's no reason to, you know? I don't know. So,
and it's so crazy because you were saying that these cons be like mini rock shows, and I'm like, wow, because I've only ever been to one con in my life, and that was Otakon, and I was like 17. So I'm like, wow, cons be really that wow?
I got some. Before we move on, I'll just tell you like one thing. I went to Humankind and I mistakenly and left. I didn't participate, but I mistakenly was invited to an orgy and I left. So these happen all the time at cons. Cons are wild. So
sounds pretty lit.
Alrighty, let us move on. That was a good conversation, guys. All right, so our next story, back to games, is EA Play. EA Play happened last week. It was about a 50-minute presentation. They showed some stuff, some good stuff, some not so good stuff. I think we're just going to go through it in order here. So they started out with Apex Legends. They showed some. There's a new event in game. They showed some. They actually showed off some new a different ability for Lifeline, like changing her tactical. It can revive people now. She doesn't have to revive people on her own, so that's a cool change. But yeah, Apex. I mean, Tiara, have you don't play Apex, right? Or you haven't played Apex?
No, so I tried to play Apex once, like
Mm-hmm.
3 weeks ago. It was too much of a learning curve for me at this point in time in my life.
Yeah.
Like coming from like Warzone, like it was too much of a learn. And I was like, all these different characters do different things. How am I supposed to know which fits my gameplay? And it was just a lot, honestly.
Well,
so,
I play it. Montreal played it a little bit too. I love it a lot. I love it personally, but yeah, it is. It can be a little intimidating to get into. Similar, not as complicated as MOBA, obviously, but it has all these characters, different abilities, and everything. So there's a lot going on in the game. After that, they showed the Sims 4, which is it's kind of weird. Yeah, they showed like games that are already out, and like
but are they making additional content for the Sims 4?
They are. I'm not actually sure what additional content.
Because that's normally how the Sims go. Like they'll just keep releasing content for years before they make a new Sims.
Yeah. Well, they put the Sims 4 and other games on Steam. That was a huge announcement for that.
Apex is coming to Steam, and Apex is also coming to Switch. That's what these announcements were.
Yeah. So they put Sims 4, Dead Space 3, Titanfall 2 on.
I don't know how Apex is gonna run on. I wouldn't trust.
I don't think it's gonna run on Switch very well.
I don't think it's not gonna run on the Switch very well. Like I said,
way too fast paced. Like
it's that's what I'm saying. The rendering is I don't foresee it being the same experience on the Switch as it is on the consoles and PC. Right. I don't see it making that good of a transition. But I mean, Apex is free.
Yep. The next game they showed was an EA original called It Takes Two. It's a cooperative action adventure game. Didn't look particularly interesting to me, but did you guys have any interest in this?
Is that the one where you gotta do rhythm?
Here's my co-op.
Is that the one? Is that the rhythm game one? Or no? I don't think that's one.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Actually, it might have been. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, it didn't look particularly interesting to me. The first half of this thing was really kind of meh, in my opinion. Because the next game they showed was something called Lost in Random, which was like a really weird looking game. It kind of had like a Nightmare Before Christmas vibe, but it looked like a kind of like a third person kind of platformer-ish game. But they said it's coming out next year, so not anytime soon. But I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on this one?
I didn't really pay too much attention to this one. At all. So
next one was Rocket Arena. This one looks like a shooter that you can only shoot rockets.
This game looks fucking fun.
It kind of does look fun, actually. I don't think I'm going to play it probably, but it does look kind of fun. I'll be interested to see how it turns out, I guess. But it's like, it's going to be an arena shooter. So, but I'm sure the characters all have
arena like Smite.
No, it's more of Overwatch aspects.
Yeah, more like Overwatch. Yeah. But yeah, the guns are rocket launchers. So if you've ever played a shooter and you had like Halo, all rocket launchers, man.
That shit was fun.
That's some good stuff back in the day. Next thing they showed, so this was the big.
It is gonna have platform play though.
Okay, nice. So yeah, the next thing they showed, this was kind of the big marquee thing, was Star Wars Squadrons, and this one, man, I'm excited about. So they announced it's coming out on October 2nd, which is actually really soon, and it's a first-person, basically flight sim game for Star Wars. So like you're flying like X-Wings, TIE fighters, and things like that, in the vein of like the old X-Wing versus TIE fighter series in the 90s that was on PC.
Okay.
and they said it's going to be fully VR capable. It's going to have a single player campaign. It's also going to have multiplayer as well. And man, I was really excited by what they showed to me. I think this game looks really cool. What did you think of it? What did you guys think of it?
You can go first.
It's not my type of game personally. I mean, it looks cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with her. Like, I'm not really a fan of the whole first person dog fighting type games. Yep. Like if it looked more like Star Fox, like third person, I would be into it. But I'm not really into like flight sim. Yeah, like the Ace Combat type games. Like I try to get into those games, and it's just not for me. It looked really cool though. It looked really cool,
man. Ah, dude,
that's what I said. It looks good.
Yeah,
this game.
I'm gonna play it. I'll tell you guys how it is. Like,
I would like to play this game on VR. This would be the first game I will probably buy a VR system to play it.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say, what do y'all think about getting a VR system? I've been thinking about getting a PlayStation VR for a minute.
My friend has a VR. He loves it, but it's just not for me.
I love that because I wouldn't get no Oculus. I wouldn't get a whole VR system like that.
He has a whole.
I'm not
setup.
ready for it yet, personally.
But I was thinking about the PlayStation VR since that would just be an add-on to the PlayStation.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get one of these things for a single game, and there's not really any other games on VR that interest me. So we'll see.
I thought Fallout on VR might have been cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think Bethesda put like a lot of their games on VR already. Actually, I think Skyrim you can play in VR too. Right?
You can play Skyrim on a fucking cell phone at this point. Like, what the...
you can play Skyrim on a smart fridge, dude.
Yeah, it's literally everywhere.
Yeah, every platform imaginable. Yeah. So after that, they showed, they showed Madden and FIFA. Whatever, who cares? Madden and FIFA, it's great. And then they showed, they did like a montage of some next generation games. They showed a new EA Motive game, Dice with looked like Battlefield. They showed what looked like Dragon Age 4, some scenes from Dragon Age 4, nothing like crazy. Then they showed, I think it was Need for Speed from Criterion. Actually, it looked really good.
Yeah, that looked really good
aesthetically. Yeah, so they were just showing off some next gen graphics. And then the last thing they announced was Skate. They didn't call it Skate 4, but it basically is going to be essentially because it's a new game from the ground up. This was I mean, I don't personally care. This is not in my wheelhouse, but people were really excited about this. Like genuinely.
Yeah, I never was a Skate fan. I was more of a Tony Hawk fan. I know a lot of people who did like Skate though, but I never was a Skate fan. I like the Tony Hawk series more than Skate.
I just can't believe EA is doing this. Like, I'm genuinely surprised by that.
I mean, they're gonna fuck it up somehow, but good for EA, man. Probably gotta play a whole bunch of microtransactions for like different decks and different
different skateboards.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be great.
Pay to win skateboards. Yeah, so I mean that was pretty much it. It was 50 minutes. It was all right. I think it could have been 25 and probably been, better, but
definitely
I'm at the point
welcome.
with EA where I just don't think they need to have a conference like this every year. Like, it's just not necessary. Their catalog is not interesting enough to really pull on these kind of videos.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset because they didn't mention anything about Anthem, Mass Effect. They did a little bit for Dragon Age, but like everyone's like, "Oh, okay, well."
I mean, it's wishful thinking if you think that stuff's anywhere near close. Like, sorry, I mean, Dragon Age, dude. If Dragon Age comes out before 2022, I will eat my shoe. Like, it's not happening. Sorry, guys. And Mass Effect, forget about it. Like, that's coming after Dragon Age for sure. Anthem is probably the closest thing. But even that, they've said specifically isn't close.
I need a new Mass Effect like yesterday, honestly. The way people feel about like The Last of Us 2, how long it took that to come out, that's how I feel about Mass Effect. Like, I don't care what BioWare, whoever got to own the IP, I don't care about none of that.
You just want another Mass Effect
game. Put that game together. I need a new Mass Effect.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, they actually did not mention the remaster.
I was just about to say that too. They didn't mention the remaster.
Right, and it makes me think to myself: is it because like who owns the IPs? Is it an IP thing? Because
No,
why haven't we gotten
they own it.
a Mass Effect remake? Like
because
a
because
version
because of
Mass Effect?
Andromeda, they just too scared.
I
They're
would
we talked
in
about
a
it.
heartbeat
We talked about it a few weeks ago.
throw money.
It seems pretty set in stone at this point that a Mass Effect trilogy remaster is happening. It's just weird they didn't talk about it here. Like
see. This is why I hate that though. I love that they're making it a remaster, but they're doing the same exact shit that they did last generation. They're releasing it right when the new consoles come out. They always do this to Mass Effect, and I have no idea. Then they're like, "Oh, why is the game failing?" You released it right when the PS4 and Xbox One came out. Like,
you're gonna release a series of PS3 games when the PS5 comes out and the Xbox Series X. Like, come on.
Yeah,
like we should have had these remasters like 5 years ago. Like,
exactly.
What the fuck what are we doing, EA? Like, they just dragged their ass on this so long that no one's actually gonna care when it does come out. Like, it's what's annoying, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, Mass Effect doesn't sell," and they're gonna cancel the Mass Effect game. You know. Just so irritating.
It's just really irritating. I'm sorry. It's really irritating because I remember I went to go buy Mass Effect 3 and I remember seeing the line wrapped around the corner. People were cosplaying for this shit. Yep. Like, they have a dedicated fan base and they're just treating their fans like shit.
I'm a part of it.
Yep. I am too.
We all are. Yeah, all three of us are on the show.
Like, I mean, Mass Effect just came on Steam recently.
Yeah, but they can't even do that right. They didn't put the DLC on Steam. Like,
exactly.
Like, come on. How is that not part of the game at this point? It's been 10 damn years.
Right.
They drive me crazy.
And that's the whole thing. Because it's just like, I want to replay Mass Effect, but I don't want to replay the 360 version. I don't want to.
It's awful. Oh my God. I tried it on PlayStation 3. Yeah.
I want to play a remastered version. That's what I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fine, if you want to, if it must be $60, and I guess I'll pay $60 for it, but I want it. That's what I want as a gamer.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure the announcement will come in the next few months. It has to, because it's rumored to be coming out early next year. So, I mean, they have to announce it soon.
Let me see. What is this article that I'm looking at? This article says that it's supposed to come this year. Supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd buy that.
But
why wouldn't they have announced it here if that was the case? Like,
but that was the thing. That was the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, why wouldn't they announce it? At EA Play.
Yeah.
But.
Or they just hate BioWare. They just want to shove them in a closet and like.
I think they said it's supposed to be fall 2020. That's when it's supposed to come out.
Yeah, well, that means it needs to be announced in the next month. Like. That would be insane.
Unless they're gonna pull a Beyonce and they just drop it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they could do that. They did that with Apex, right? And it worked there.
Yeah, but that was Respawn, so.
Yeah, I know. It's different. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on. Our final main news story is MPD numbers for May, and the trend of coronavirus increasing video game sales continues for another month. So total video game sales for the month of May, 977 million.
God, GTA is on this list.
642 million. Versus 642 million last year. Video game hardware, 235 million this year versus 150 million last year. And then video game software, physical and digital formats, 438 million this year versus 262 last year. And then accessories, 304 million this year versus 230 last year. Total sales for the entire industry for everything, all inclusive, 5.48 billion for the year. For this year versus 4.662 billion last year. So it's this trend I expect to continue for the next few months until I
saw it firsthand today. I had to shop around for 2 fucking hours for a goddamn PS4 controller.
That's true. Yeah, you brought that up to me, dude.
Really?
Like,
yes.
Yes,
they're sold out everywhere.
I just ordered those things on Amazon.
Well, I wanted one
even
immediately.
On Amazon. They're not. They don't have any.
Yeah, they're for the official PS4 controllers. Like, you can get the knockoffs right now.
Oh yeah, no, I don't get knockoffs.
Yeah,
I did that once with the 360.
The official PS4 controllers, they're not back in stock until July 4th. And I went to GameStop. I went to 2 different GameStops and 2 different Walmarts. And they didn't have them. I looked at the Target website. They didn't have them. I just so happened to, I just Googled PS4 controller. And then I was desperate because I completely forgot about Best Buy. And Best Buy had 5 left. and it was like in another on the other side of Texas. Well, not literally, but still, it was. I had to drive 30 minutes for it, and I did.
Still be driving, bro. If that were the case,
yeah, exactly. So I definitely believe those numbers. Like, people are buying the fuck out of hardware. Like, I was
Even
surprised.
The Switch.
Yeah.
Oh, the Switch you can't find. Yeah, you still can't find it.
It's
Like,
fucking ridiculous.
Do you understand what I had to go through to get a Switch? I literally had to use a search algorithm that emailed me the exact moment that the Switch got in stock, and that's how I bought my Switch.
Like, it's a pair of Jordans.
So you're like you had to use one of those things those people use for like the collectible limited edition versions of the Switch that Nintendo makes like 15 of, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just like it was every Switch. So any Switch that came in stock. So if it was a bundle or whatever Switch that came into stock, it would alert me. And I literally had, if I didn't click on it the exact second I got that email, the Switch was gone.
That's insane.
Wow, that's nuts. Yeah. Well,
so that's the Switch.
Yeah, so top 20 games for the month. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is number one. Grand Theft Auto 5, number 2.
Okay, stop it. What the fuck? Why are we buying this game?
GTA 5.
Stop.
Should I get online?
Stop. Can we stop buying this game? I'm sorry, I had to stop you there, Justin, because I'm tired of this fucking game.
I know, bro. Look, dude, like this is why GTA 6 is never gonna happen. They're gonna tease everybody with it for years. It's never gonna happen because motherfuckers keep buying this game.
They might as well just make a GTA strictly online.
It's GTA. Just call it GTA.
Just call it GTA.
GTA, right? That's what they should just do. To have like an MMO version of GTA, so that the rest of us could get single player.
No,
GTAs
you're not gonna. No,
they're not gonna do that.
They're not gonna do it.
They're making too much money. Look at GTA 5. They're making way too much money.
Best-selling game.
Oh my god!
2020, the game came out.
That means it must not be. That means it might be too late for me to hop online to GTA Online.
It must be fun. It must be fun.
It has to be fun.
It has to be fun.
It gotta be. Gotta be.
It's gotta be extremely fun.
Gotta be. Because ain't no way. I
don't understand.
No, Tiara, listen. Every fucking week we've been doing this goddamn podcast. Every fucking month we do it, and we do the NPD numbers. Guess who's on the top of the fucking list? It's fucking GTA. I can't look anywhere without seeing GTA 5.
Number 7's Minecraft, bro.
I ain't gonna lie, I like Minecraft.
These same games though every month. So let me keep going here. All right. Number 3, Animal Crossing: New Horizons continues to kill it. NBA 2K20 is number 4. Mortal Kombat 11 at 5. Number 6 is Red Dead Redemption 2. 7 is Minecraft. 8, Final Fantasy 7 Remake. 9, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. 10, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which is impressive.
That is
11,
impressive.
Madden NFL 20. 12, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Oh, and that fucking game too.
Yep. 13, though, dude, Need for Speed Heat keeps charting. This game must be good.
You know what? I'm gonna buy it. I
have to buy this.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it.
I've never really been a Need for Speed person. Like, I personally never did like a Forza. Like, I don't like when games.
See, Need for Speed is like arcade though. It's arcade.
Yeah, Need for Speed is game.
Like for me, I like Burnout. I like to take.
That's what Need for Speed is.
That's what Need for Speed is. Yeah, it's a similar style.
Yeah.
I played a Need for Speed game, and I was like way back when I played Need for Speed game, I was like, that's a little bit too realistic for me.
They did go through a phase where they were trying to like get into that. They had some bad Need for Speed games.
Like, I don't want a simulator. I don't want a racing simulator like Forza.
Yeah.
If I wanted a racing simulator, I would drive my own.
No, I'm thinking of what was it, Pro Street maybe?
Yeah, Need for Speed reminds me. Yeah, it probably was Pro Street.
Like
Need for Speed. Have you ever played Midnight Club or Midnight?
Yeah.
Midnight Run, Midnight Club. That's what Need for Speed like wants to be.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
14, Xenoblade Chronicles Divinity.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And one day they did that. 15, Minecraft Dungeons. 16, Saints Row the Third Remastered. 17, MLB The Show 20. 18, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. 19, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. What
the fuck?
What? 20,
People
FIFA
like
20.
Call of Duty.
Twice on the list. Unbelievable. And then top 10 best-selling games of the year so far, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Fuck.
I think Call of Duty Modern Warfare deserves that, though. Like, Modern Warfare is a really good Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I'm not even gonna hold them up. That's a good one.
2, Animal Crossing: New Horizons. 3, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Good on them. 4, GTA 5.
Jesus.
Number 5, NBA 2K20. 6, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, still hanging around. Number 7, MLB The Show 20. 8, Resident Evil 3. 9,
Really?
Madden NFL 20. And 10, Red Dead Redemption 2.
That
I'm
Resident
really
Evil
happy
one.
that Red Dead Redemption is still charting, honestly, because that's a
Yeah,
really
that's
good game
surprising.
too.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's
saying you also have to think about like if you just said that the gaming console, then the numbers have spiked, with coronavirus. So you have to think about people are getting on these new consoles, so they're saying, oh, well, what game am I gonna get?
What's the best game I can play?
Right, exactly. You should get Red Dead Redemption 2. You should get
Red Dead Redemption is bundled with that PS4. They do have.
Oh, that's true. They do have a bundle. Well, in Grand Theft Auto, everybody knows what that is. So, like, you could.
I gotta get online. Clearly. Clearly, I gotta see what the hype is.
That's awesome. All right, let's move on. A couple game announcements happened. These were these are crazy. These two. So Nintendo announced Pokemon Snap, a new Pokemon Snap game is coming to Switch. Like, this is crazy to me. I don't even understand how this is gonna work.
I downloaded an emulator. I downloaded an N64 emulator just to play Pokemon Snap. Like, that is my favorite game of the N64. I love that game as a child.
It's a fun game. I'm not gonna
deny
that.
I don't know what it is about taking Pokemon, but that was my.
It's literally like an amusement park ride. That's 30 minutes. Like, that's the game.
It's fun.
That's literally the game.
And
you gotta keep
play that on loop.
You gotta keep on things. You gotta keep, like maybe you throw the apple at the Pokemon to get the Pokemon to look at you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just because you see the Pokemon in their natural habitat. You ain't fighting them. It's like you're going to a zoo, like a virtual zoo.
Yeah, I'm just saying this game can't be like it has to be like way better than the N64 game. Like, justify being a video game.
That game better not come out at $60. That's what better not happen, because I would not be purchasing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it does, it better be robust.
That's what I'm saying. It has to be a lot going on. Like you said, that game really was a 30-minute amusement park ride. You just kept starting over and over again.
And it had the same patterns. Like, the Pokemon came out the same pattern. Yeah. So this has to have either multiple different, like, tracks, quote unquote, or whatever you want to call them, or environments, I guess. And I think it also needs to have kind of randomized behavior in certain ways,
And then on top of that, when Pokemon Snap first came out, it was just the regular 150 Pokemon. Now they're like 700-800 Pokemon. So they're like 8-9 different generations, whatever generation they on now. There's a bunch of different Pokemon. So that game is going to have to feature like every single Pokemon for me to purchase that at $60.
I don't. Like, that seems impossible.
They're probably
whatever. Something's gonna have to happen, because it's no way. It's no way that game could be $60 and then have just be like the regular Pokemon.
Like, it's like a 1 hour like adventure around an island. Like, that's not acceptable today. Like, that's not gonna work anymore.
I'm about to be that guy.
Okay.
I'm about to be that guy. Why this shit look?
You gonna pay $60 for it?
No. I'm about to start some shit. Why does game look better than Sword and Shield?
Oh, it does. Dude, it totally does.
It does.
Well, no, think about it though. Montreal makes sense. Think about it. Sword and Shield is
but it's a camera game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Okay.
It's intended to be a visual experience. Like, it has to look good,
All right. Okay.
But I'm with you. Why can't Sword and Shield look this good? What the fuck?
You don't like the way Sword and Shield looks?
I mean, it looks fine. It's just like
it could look better. Like, they didn't put a lot of effort.
Sword and Shield looks really good for a Pokemon.
I mean,
game.
this looks like a Pixar movie. Like, I mean,
that shit looks good as fuck.
It's just gorgeous.
Well, like you said, people don't play the Switch for graphics, so
yeah.
Well, I understand that.
Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, Pokemon Snap is gonna be.
I'm ready.
I hope it's like.
I'm October 2nd. It's soon. Like, they're competing with Star Wars Squadrons. Like, they're going up against.
I'm guaranteed they're gonna outsell. They're gonna outsell.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely, dude. EA doesn't stand a chance. Are you serious right now?
I'm gonna have people buy Pokemon Snap first, and then have them review it, and then complain about it, and then depending on what their complaints are, that's going to determine if I buy it or not. Like, if somebody says, "Oh, graphics, whatever. Okay, whatever. I'll probably buy it. But if somebody says, "Man, it was only an hour of content," I'll be like, "What the hell?"
Well, that's why they're not going to get away with it. Like word will spread quickly if it's really small. You know.
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. I'm gonna let people, buy it first, and then.
And I hope there's like more interaction to it than just taking pictures. Like maybe you can like make the Pokemon do stuff, you know, like you said, like throw an apple at them or something and like make them chase it, you know.
Or they're gonna have to because they got all that Pokemon stuff in Sword and Shield. So I think
Yeah, but I
people.
was about to say in Sword and Shield you can take out your little feather thingy to get the Pokemon attention and stuff. You can kind of already do that stuff and play with your Pokemon and Pokemon Shield.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
that would be I mean, if they don't have that, then this is like a huge miss. But
yeah,
it's not the same company. Namco Bandai is making this game, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Cool.
Okay,
all right.
so that was Pokemon
Next.
Snap.
Yeah, I think Tiara is excited about this one. So this next one, this kind of came out of the blue. Like when I think about it, it makes sense. But Crash Bandicoot 4 was announced. And
I would say that did come out the blue.
It's a new Crash Bandicoot game. I mean, given the success of Crash Team Race in the remake and then the Insane Trilogy, I think it makes sense. Like it seems like this was kind of inevitable, but it is kind of weird to think that a new Crash Bandicoot game is coming out in 2020 or 2021. I didn't see a release date for it.
I think
October
2nd.
October 2nd. Yeah.
I think they're playing on, again, most of the gamers nowadays are adults. Like, the big base is adults. So they're really playing on the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
Because I recently replayed I played Crash Bandicoot the other day actually. And it was cool. The nostalgia was cool, but personally I can do without another. Like, I feel like me as a gamer, I have matured from that. If that makes any sense.
Right. I am also inclined to agree. I wasn't as excited as I thought I would be. I was just like, oh, okay. I may buy that, but I'm gonna buy it on sale. Like when it's
I never liked Crash Bandicoot, but it looks gorgeous though.
It looks really good, yeah.
Even the remakes are good. It looks really good coming from a PS1 game.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's things are moving. I don't know who's actually making this. Oh, it's developed by Toys for Bob. Shit. I don't know what games they've made.
I'm about to say, what games did they make?
I know the name of this. I know that name. That name is familiar to me, but I forget what they
So
make.
Naughty Dog is not making this.
Oh, absolutely not. No way.
No,
I mean, this IP is owned by Activision.
Activision now, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But so October 2nd, it's not far. That'll be pretty soon. So, all right, let's move on. We got a couple more things here, and then we will be wrapping up. So, Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed.
I am excited about this
again. And
ever since I saw Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. It's delayed again. We're never going to get this game.
I mean, it was delayed from September 17th to November 19th. They did release a statement on Twitter. I'm not going to read it. Game's delayed. The funny part about this, though, to me, is that I think they outed the PS5's release date. Like, I think November 19th is going to be the PS5's release date. Like that. I don't necessarily think that's like intentional, obviously.
I think if they want to hold off on that game to the next gen consoles come out, I don't think that's a bad idea.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, we talked about this when they initially delayed to September, is that people are basically going to be playing a shittier game in September than if they waited 2 months and just get it on the next console, and now nobody has to make that decision. That's why I think this is coming day and date with the consoles, because it wouldn't make sense to release it a week before. Like it wouldn't make no sense whatsoever, So to me, I think this is basically going to be a launch game for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X now.
I think it should be.
Which is a good thing.
You know what? We're past it. I guess I'll talk to you all about offline. But I was just thinking, like, am I going to get the next gen consoles the day they come? Probably not, honestly. As an adult, I barely have time to game now. Like, to add another system to my repertoire that I'm probably not going to play like I did when I was a teenager. Like, I think I'm going to wait on the next console.
I'll be getting them. I'll be getting PS5 day one. That is for sure.
I think I'm gonna wait.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be backwards compatible with PS4. Like what? I already play PS4.
I thought they said, but I thought they said it wasn't gonna be backwards. PS4.
No, they said that it is. What they're not gonna do is do that free upgrade thing that Xbox is doing, like that. Like they're auto enhancing your games. They're not gonna do that. Yeah.
Smart delivery, whatever they're calling it.
Well, they're not gonna do that.
So Microsoft. So explain that.
So Microsoft, I mean, not only does Microsoft have smart delivery where it'll upgrade your game. So say like there was a Halo game coming from the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X, you can get the Xbox Series X version for free when it does come out for the Xbox Series X. That's just an example. But if on Xbox games, a lot of the games, even like third-party games, they're getting upscaled for the Xbox Series X. Like they're supported.
Cyberpunk's one of those actually.
I do like that idea.
Yeah. So
I do like that idea.
So if you have an Xbox One,
that may make me Xbox Series X over the PS5. If I was trying to, that made me want it, because again, I don't like the fact that the developers do that. If I already bought your game on the 360, why I gotta buy it again on the Xbox One? Like, give me the game for free.
Yeah.
I already bought it.
So PlayStation came out and said that they're not going to do that. If you play Destiny 2, you can play Destiny 2 on the PS5, but it's not going to be upscaled. Like, we're not doing that extra crap. Like, they just said you can play it. It's backwards compatibility. That's it. So
yeah, but backwards compatibility though is the thing that makes me buy a new console. Like, that's the reason I didn't buy a PS4 for a year, because I had PS3 games I still wanted to play. And that's going to be true this generation as well. So the fact that it has backwards compatibility, I mean, there's no reason not to get it at that point. Like, I could just transition over immediately, So
I'm gonna get both, but it's just that I think I'm gonna just like hold out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough.
Because I really kind of feel like I only had my consoles. Like, I only really had both of them for like maybe like 2 years now, and I'm like, I just got these consoles. Yeah, and I gotta upgrade again. Nah, I think I'm gonna.
That's why you got to go in early. You got to go in early in the generation so you don't run into this problem.
That is true. But as an adult who got to pay rent and a car note, gotta make adult decisions.
Mm-hmm. All right, final story. This one probably only really applies to me, but Amplitude's Humankind, which is going to be their Civilization clone / competition, has been delayed to 2021. This game was very intriguing to me because I think Firaxis has gotten extremely complacent making Civilization because no one competes with them within that field of games. But Amplitude is a studio that has made very successful 4X games in the past, like Endless Legend, Endless Space. These guys know how to make these games, and I actually think they can make a really competent game to compete with Civilization. So I'm excited about this. I'm a little bummed it's got pushed to 2021, but frankly, I don't know. I don't really mind. I have so much to play anyways. It's fine. But otherwise, that is pretty much it for us. We don't have any other things to talk about unless there's anything you guys want to mention before we go.
No, I'm done.
You're done?
I'm done.
Save for next week.
All right, fair enough. All right, let me do the rigmarole, wrap us up. So, if you like this episode, please like the episode, review the episode, subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And if you could, please share it with your friends. If you would like to interact with any of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrapForTheHokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. Tiara is at Victorian Jedi, all one word. I am at ThunderNut01, and the show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us a question, you can do so on Twitter or email us at theplayerstake01@gmail.com. Otherwise, we are done, guys. This has been a meaty episode, good episode, a lot of good discussions here. We hope you enjoyed it. We will see you on the next one. All right, bye, guys.